Plus 7 imguide.d. equals I3DFB93A7C072491 SRC equals http://.dailymail.co.uk/pix/2018/016/48132465000578526447 image A2_15575061218.jpg height equals 459 width equals 306 alt equals Jack and Sarah Hawkins have launched legal action against the hospital trust they both used to work for following the preventable death of their daughter, Harriet. Class equals blocks border image share, greater than Harriet Hawkins would have turned 2 this April, and it is a daily torment for her parents to imagine what their little girl would be like now. Would she be a chatterbox or would she be shy? Would she look more like mom or dad? For the sake of their own sanity, these are thoughts that must be pushed aside. I can't look at a toddler knowing that our daughter should be alive today, says her father Jack Hawkins, a hospital consultant. Advertising again read invented by Teebs. And the last night, there was a family next to us in the pub with a little girl who kept toddling over to us. It was unbearable. I could feel myself almost scowling at her parents, because that should have been us. Harriet's first smile, first tooth, first steps, these are all the treasured milestones lost to Dr. Hawkins, 48, and his wife, Sarah, 34. Instead, Harriet lies in a hospital mortuary, 20 months after she was stillborn at Nottingham City Hospital on April 17, 2016, the same hospital where both parents worked. Following a traumatic 6-day labor. I went into hospital expecting to return home with our first child, only to give birth to a dead baby, says Sarah, a physiotherapist. We haven't been able to bury her, or grieve for her from that day on. Next week, the couple can finally start planning Harriet's funeral after a long battle with Nottingham University Hospital Trust to uncover the truth of why she died. No funeral could take place while post-mortem results remained in dispute. Plus 7 imguide.d. equals I45E927566CCCD76 ESRC equals http://dailymel.co.uk/pix/2018/016/2012/22/481324D0005785264471 image A3_1515795071175.jpg height equals 476 width equals 634 alt equals the Hawkins, pictured here cradling Harriet soon after she was born at Nottingham City Hospital, can finally start planning their daughter's funeral after a battle with an NHS trust. Class equals blocks border image share, greater than them. Hawkins have always refused to accept the trust's own investigation into their daughter's death, which concluded she died from an infection in the womb. An independent report made public this week concluded what Dr. Hawkins and his wife believed from the outset, that Harriet's death was almost certainly preventable, the result of a catalogue of blunders, which the Hawkins accused the trust of trying to cover up. An external investigation found 13 failures in Sarah's care and said a lack of midwifery leadership and poor safety culture were contributory factors in Harriet's stillbirth. Nottingham University Hospital's trust has apologized for its shortcomings. The Hawkins lawyer, Janet Baker, said that in 20 years of practicing in clinical negligence she had never seen such a horrendous string of errors. Dr. Hawkins says today, Sarah and I passionately believe in the NHS. We wanted to have our first baby delivered by hospital colleagues. We wanted to be treated like every other patient, without special treatment. But if we hadn't blindly placed our trust in our NHS colleagues, Harriet would be alive today. He adds, this is not an isolated case. We asked the trust how many similar deaths there were to Harriet's and we discovered there were 35 in just over 2.5 years. Those were 35 missed opportunities to properly investigate the causes. If we'd known about them, we would have been far less trusting and more demanding, and Harriet's death could have been prevented. Plus 7, imguide.d. equals ICD-E6B2793C6F05 SRC equals http://dailymail.co.uk/pix/2018/01/13/016/4814792000578526447 image A17_1515807434908.jpg height equals 845 width equals 634 alt equals Sarah is pictured here 38 weeks pregnant. Sarah's pregnancy was without problems and she worked right up to the 38th week, even helping save the life of a patient in cardiac arrest in her final week. Class equals block sporter im share, greater than +7 in guide.d. equals I32E9775593D2976 SRC equals http://.dailymail.co.uk/pics/2018/001/12/22/4813245900005785264471 image A4_15795076155.jpg height equals 465 width equals 634 alt equals an independent report made public this week concluded that Harriet's death was almost certainly preventable. Pictured, Harriet's 20-week scan. Class equals block sporter im share, greater than. The Hawkins have now referred Harriet's case to the Crown Prosecution Service and Health and Safety Executive in the hope of saving other prospective parents from the trauma which will forever haunt them. They are also campaigning for a change in the law to allow coroners to investigate stillbirths, which, they believe, would help flag up failings in NHS maternity services. Currently, if a baby dies after 24 weeks of pregnancy, before or during labor, the death is classified as a stillbirth and not covered by coronial law, i.e. there cannot be an inquest. Sarah says, "If the trust had said from the start, 'We're very sorry, we messed up. We're going to learn from this,' then that would have been enough for us. We could have buried our daughter and grieved. Her body wouldn't have had to lie in a freezer for 20 months. But there's been no openness, no transparency and no willingness to accept they might have got it wrong. At one point, they even suggested we were to blame for Harriet's death. Until Harriet died, the Hawkins had nothing but positive things to say about the trust for whom they worked." Sarah, who met her husband of 3 years at work more than 10 years ago, couldn't have been happier to give birth to her first baby among NHS colleagues. As for Dr. Hawkins, as a consultant in acute medical care and clinical director in NHS Improvement's Emergency Care Improvement Program, ECIP, and the Emergency Care Intensive Support Team, ESIST, his whole career was devoted to improving patient care and safety. Sarah's pregnancy was without problems and she worked right up to the 38th week, even helping save the life of a patient in cardiac arrest in her final week. "We were very excited about our first child," she says. "We didn't know if we were having a boy or girl, because we wanted it to be a surprise. Friends had given us some clothes and a cot and we'd ordered a pram, but my mom told me not to have it delivered until after the birth because it's considered unlucky. +7 im guide.d. equals I6351D001087242 ESRC equals http://guide.dailymail.co.uk/pics/2018/01020/48127C300005785264471 image A16_1515795430895.jpg height equals 845 width equals 634 alt equals an external investigation found 13 failures in Sarah's care and said a lack of midwifery leadership and poor safety culture were contributory factors in Harriet's stillbirth. Class equals block sporter im share, greater than. I didn't have a birth plan written down because I decided to place my trust in my colleagues working in maternity. I was happy to put myself in their hands because I believed they knew what they were doing." Dr. Hawkins adds, "There is a tradition among most consultants to opt for a consultant-led birth, but we didn't want to do that. I made the decision to switch off being a doctor, and just be a husband and first-time father, like everyone else. It's a decision he bitterly regrets. At times, I've felt the most terrible guilt that, as a doctor, I didn't recognize those failings and intervene in time to save our child." Sarah was one day overdue when she felt her first contraction on April 12, 2016. An examination by a community midwife showed that she was 2 centimeters dilated. Sarah was advised to phone Queen's Medical Centre in Nottingham, where she was booked to give birth. That evening, as the contractions became more frequent, she was invited to come into the labor ward, but was sent home after being told her contractions were not close enough together. She was given codeine for the pain. Dr. Hawkins recalls, "They gave us pamphlets about latent, early labor and they convinced us that Sarah wasn't in established labor yet, so could not be admitted. So we went home, thinking they were the experts in childbirth and knew what they were talking about." At home, despite following advice to take baths to ease her discomfort, Sarah was in excruciating pain, at one point collapsing, but she was repeatedly told her contractions were not close enough for her to be admitted to the labor suite. At midnight on April 16, Sarah again phoned the labor Sweet asking if she could come in for gas and air, or an epidural, because she was exhausted and in pain, but says she was told she couldn't receive these until she was 4 centimeters dilated. This call resulted in admission. They gave Sarah diamorphine, then codeine and paracetamol, but did not re-examine her and sent her home at 6:30 a.m. The couple were told they need only call to be readmitted. But when they called at lunchtime that day, they were twice denied admission by a midwife, who told them Sarah was not in labor. This midwife has never come forward or been traced by the hospital. Dr. Hawkins desperately wishes now that he'd kicked up a fuss and demanded that Sarah be seen by a consultant there and then, but he remained respectful of the midwives, not wanting to pull rank or overreact when he knew labor could be unpredictable. But not only was Sarah in established labor, it was already a dysfunctional labor, which required emergency medical attention. Suffering from fluid retention, Sarah's bladder was unable to expel 2 liters of urine, putting the pregnancy at risk and preventing labor progressing. +7 and guide.d. equals IBA 366 AA 450 A 190 CSRC equals http://.dailymail.co.uk/pics/2018/01012/22/4813270005785264471 image A15_1515795401677.jpg height equals 951 width equals 634 alt equals. The Hawkins are also campaigning for a change in the law to allow coroners to investigate stillbirths, which they believe would help flag up failings in NHS maternity services. Class equals blocks bordering share, greater than at 2:18 a.m. on April 17. The Hawkins say they called the labor suite again after Sarah's waters, not yet broken, started to bulge through the birth canal. They were told admissions to the Queen's Medical Centre had been suspended due to understaffing. They were advised to call the labor suite at Nottingham City Hospital instead, but claimed the midwife they spoke to there, on the phone, was dismissive and failed to recognize the urgency of Sarah's worsening situation, insisting she was not in established labor and did not need to attend. Sarah says, "I was lying on the sofa and I could feel myself wanting to push. I was really worried I was going to give birth at home. I was in agony and exhausted." Dr. Hawkins continues, "They finally told us to come in and asked if we wanted an ambulance, but we knew it would be quicker if we drove there. We'd had the car packed and pointing in the right direction for 6 days. We arrived at 4 a.m. but the trust's record said the time down is 4:45 or 4:50 a.m. Later, after everything had gone wrong, we felt we were being blamed for Harriet's death by not calling for an ambulance, and it was suggested we delayed getting to the hospital, but we completely disputed their timings." Dr. Hawkins believes their daughter was already dying or dead from asphyxiation by the time his wife was admitted. Midwives, on examining Sarah, found she was 9 centimeters dilated, the baby's head was visible and she was ready to deliver. He struggles to contain his emotions when he describes how they began to fill a birthing pool, very slowly through a scabby old hose, while a midwife tried to find the baby's heartbeat, and, we know now following the independent investigation, mistook Sarah's own heartbeat for Harriet's. Sarah describes what happened next as a living nightmare. A midwife checked again for the baby's heartbeat, and, finding nothing, urgently called for the registrar. He said, "I'm sorry, your baby's dead." It was the first we knew anything was wrong, says Sarah. +7 and guide.d. equals I2BB0 ADVCA 563 A7 F2SRC equals http://dailymaill.co.uk/pics/2018/01002/48132/0005785264471 image A17_1515795413337.jpg height equals 356 width equals 634 alt equals. A spokesman for the trust said, "We accept the recommendations that have arisen from the external review and have worked to ensure appropriate further actions have been taken where needed." Class equals blocks bordering share, greater than. Dr. Hawkins continues, "The room was filled with the most horrific sound of Sarah's screams, a sound that no husband would ever want to hear. It was terrible. One minute we'd been told our first child was ready to deliver, the next, we were being told she was dead. It took Sarah 9 hours to deliver Harriet, with medical intervention." Dr. Hawkins demanded that a consultant attend his distraught wife when she went to the operating theater. "I was completely numb," says Sarah. "Part of me wanted to believe they'd got it wrong, that she was still alive. They showed her to me after she was born, but I couldn't hold her. She was perfect, it just looked like she was asleep." The couple will never forget the hours they spent with Harriet. They cuddled her, took photos and mourned her loss, before returning home with an empty car seat. Friends took away all the baby things and Sarah's brother-in-law canceled the pram order. Sarah says, "We were consumed with grief, but both of us felt very strongly that something wasn't right about the care I'd received and we wanted to know what went wrong. Needed an explanation." Dr. Hawkins adds, "If we hadn't had a medical background, it would have been very easy for us to accept the trust's position that it was just one of those things and that no one was to blame. But we questioned everything because we needed to understand. I find it shocking that, even now, after the publication of this report, the chief executive has yet to phone us personally to apologize." The Hawkins solicitor Janet Baker adds, "The external investigation report into the death of baby Harriet is highly critical of the care given to Sarah and Harriet, highlighting 13 separate failings. As a result of the report, Sarah and Jack will be referring the trust to the CPS and the Health and Safety Executive for them to consider bringing criminal charges." This week, Hospital Trust Chief Executive Tracy Taylor said, "I profoundly apologize that we let them and Harriet down so badly." Nottingham University Hospital's NHS Trust has acknowledged that it is likely Harriet would have survived had it not been for several shortcomings in care. "We accept the recommendations that have arisen from the external review and have worked to ensure appropriate further actions have been taken where needed." While the Hawkins see this as good news for other parents, they have lost far more than Harriet. Sarah is still too emotionally fragile to return to work, and Dr. Hawkins' contract with the trust came to an end in December. "We can't even think about another pregnancy," says Sarah. "Not until we've properly grieved for Harriet."